Hey guys, so this is the second video of the about Passover, about the holiday, and I want to talk about the Shabbat Hagadol. Shabbat Hagadol is the Saturday before the holiday of Pesach, which is this year. It's this coming Shabbat, which is tonight here in Israel. And right after Shabbat, when Shabbat is over, begins the holiday. So, what is Shabbat Hagadol? Shabbat Hagadol means the great Shabbat or the big Shabbat, and it has a lot of commentaries. Now, we're going to focus about the Kabbalistic understanding and meaning of Shabbat Hagadol. And the question we should ask is Shabbat in Hebrew is feminine and Gadol is masculine. So how does it go together? It should have been Shabbat Hagdolah. And the Ari explains that Gadol, the great or the big, does not necessarily refers to Shabbat. It refers to something else, and we call it Zeir Anpin. I mentioned it in the first video about Pesach, and I explain that for different reasons, the Zeir Anpin goes into an impregnation state, ibur, going back to the womb of his mother. Without going in too many details, but it means that it's a state of a fetus that is completely helpless, but he's protected in the womb of his mother. He's protected, and he's getting enough energy just to grow up. Now, so the Eranpin is growing up, and as we said before, hopefully when the time comes, it becomes like a baby, from a fetus to baby, and then he's born. And what happened next? After the baby is born, it's not over. Now he needs to grow up. So he grows up, he learns to walk, he learns to talk, he goes to school, he learns some essential pieces of information about the world, about life, and then he becomes a teenager. He becomes savvy in all the laptop, iPad skills, social media, everything the 21st century has to offer, and then he becomes a young man or young woman. And then they grow up, they become more responsible for what they do. They find a job, they build a business, they get married, they have children, and then what? As a parent, when you see your child, what do you want him to become? What is the most important? And I can say that one of the most important things, you want to see him or her becoming independent. So they can take care of themselves, one thing. They can take care of their children. And it is better to become spiritual than selfish, right? I mean, we can agree with that. Spiritual means understanding people around you, feeling the pain of other people, caring for other people, changing things for the better in your immediate environment or in your city, in your country. Do good for the world. Deliver some unique abilities that you have and give it to the world, give it to other people. Let other people enjoy it. And we know that it's a process, spiritual growth, that you learn how to connect to your true self and awaken the true self, and then eventually you become the centerpiece of creation. Okay, now for Zeir Anpin, or the children of Israel in Egypt, it didn't go so well because they were in the worst place of trapped in Egypt, the place of darkness, place of magic, place that the ego was the centerpiece. The bigger was your ego, was the better. So they needed to come out of that place, and the plan, at least in God's head, the plan was to take them out and walk them a little bit through the desert, the wilderness, and bring them to Mount Sinai, give them the Torah. And what is the Torah? The Torah is the great revelation on Mount Sinai that gives freedom from the angel of death. No more pain and suffering in the world, no more terror, no more abuse, no more ego, no more Satan. Now, before the children of Israel could leave Egypt, they needed to go through that process. We were talking about, the baby growing, toddler, teenager, young men and women, etc., and so on, until they become independent. I don't know, it takes 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. For some people, it's not over even after 50 years, right? So they were not in a good place. Now, how God had to figure out a way how to take them out so they can really eventually receive that revelation and the freedom from the angel of death. And this is Shabbat HaGadol. This is when the Shabbat HaGadol, the meaning and the essence of Shabbat HaGadol comes into play. And Gadol, the great or the big, refers to Zeir Anpin, that the Zeir Anpin grew up from fetus to baby, be born, toddler, teenager, etc., and so on, until it becomes independent overnight. That was Shabbat HaGadol, and that's the reason they call it Shabbat HaGadol, because the Zeir Anpin became Gadol. So you can say in another way, that the children of Israel became worthy of coming out of Egypt, out of slavery, overnight. Okay, and in a practical way, what happened in Egypt was they needed to take the ram that was the god of the Egyptians, and the ram represent, just like the Aries represent the firstborn, ego, self-awareness, me, myself, and I. They needed to take it, they needed to tie it to their beds for 3 days, and then they needed to take it out to the marketplace and slaughter it to the eyes of all the Egyptians, that they're killing their god, and barbecue it and eat it. So that was an impossible thing to do without being massacred in the streets. But a miracle happened, and the Egyptians were paralyzed and couldn't do anything to them. And that, for some of the commentators, they said this is the reason why we call it Shabbat HaGadol, the great Shabbat, because there was this great miracle. And it is true to some extent. But we understand that there is this, during Shabbat, just before Pesach, that it is happening for each one of us. Each one of us is going through the process of growing up from, we are grown up. Yeah, I passed 26 many years ago. So I feel that I am grown up, but we still have, a little Egypt here and there, and some negative patterns of behavior and things we believe in that maybe hold us back. And my wife is telling me every now and then, stop behaving like a child. You know, she can say that. And so during the Shabbat, we have the opportunity to grow up, get out of that bubble, you know, the entrapment where we stay most of the time, because it's a kind of it's comfortable, our comfort zone. Anyway, this is Shabbat Hagadol, preparation for Pesach. So by the time we come to the beginning of Pesach, we have a different mindset, or even the desire. We have a desire we didn't have before, because the reason, what I said in the first video, that 80% of the children of Israel did not leave Egypt because they didn't want to. They didn't think it was necessary. They were comfortable. They were complacent. The same as us. We are complacent. The reason why we're stuck in many ways, many areas of our lives, because we want to stay there. It's our choice. So, again, hopefully this Shabbat will give us a boost of energy, and we'll come out, we'll make new decisions, and we'll be ready. By the time of the end of Shabbat, we'll be ready to leave Egypt for good. Okay? So, next video I'm going to talk about some of the technicalities of the holiday, and I'll see you there.